Welcome to another episode of Snobby Robot. I'm your host, Sue Evelyn Gale. Let's introduce ourselves.
I'm Glenn Freund. I play Coyote in our web series. I'm also the lead sound design.
I'm Robin Blackburn. I play Lady Amelia at Potts, and I do a lot of client relations type work with the League.
I'm Russell Eisler. I play Zed the zombie manservant and his twin brother Thaddeus, who is not a zombie. And I also do most of the IT work and visual effects for the series.
Hi, I'm Trip Hope. I'm the executive producer of the League of S.T.E.A.M. I'm also playing a fairly new role, Albert Abel Esquire.
I'm Andrew Fogel. I play Baron von Fogel, the zombie hunter, and I direct and do post-production on the web series, and I do a lot of the PR, media, marketing stuff on the side.
And I'm Kate Walsh, and I play Catherine Blackmore on the web series, and I do a lot of production design and costume design, as well as our newsletters.
So how did the League form? How did everything start for you guys?
It kind of started with, there's an event, it's called the Labyrinth of Jareth Masquerade Ball that happens every summer, and it's this amazing event where people do these crazy costumes, and so my husband Nick and I, we were trying to decide some sort of costume to do that'd be with a group, and I had found that doing costumes with lights really gets people excited, so I wanted to do a ghost, and he wasn't into doing the whole ghost thing, but he said, I kind of am into this whole Victorian, looking, all this gadgetry kind of stuff. I think I'll do that, and I'll be like a ghost buster from the Victorian era. So with that, we found some friends who wanted to be other ghosts and other Ghostbusters, and we ended up creating the Steampunk Ghostbusters, which flourished into the League of S.T.E.A.M.
What did you guys want to accomplish with everything? What was your mind going into? What did you want to...
We wanted to wow people.
That's true.
I mean, that was the whole start of all the costume stuff. But then we started playing the characters, and then it just naturally grew from us doing something fun for ourselves, realizing that people were really enjoying it, and asking us to come and do what we do at other events, and then it just flourished from there. I mean, it really did.
We realized that we might be able to actually form a business around that notion.
Yeah.
Because all these people were inviting us to just make appearances at their birthday parties and stuff like that, and we realized that there might be an opportunity for us to actually go somewhere with this.
Yeah. And who designs everything? Who makes everything? All your guys' costumes?
Oh, we all have a part in making. Most of us make our own costumes.
Mm-hmm.
The gadgetry I think everybody has a little bit, has touched on the gadgetry to some extent.
Yeah, everybody really works, sort of develops their own character, usually as an extension of their personality or some part of their personality.
Mm-hmm.
And they say, well, I should be wearing a top hat or, a colorful vest or something. And so either seek those items out or talk to one of the other members of the group who has, a skill in sewing or a skill in fabricating with, metals or plastics or something. Not so much plastics, but, and so it's a group effort that's directed like individually for each character,
Mm-hmm.
if that makes any sense.
And I saw your guys' web show, and there's a lot of interesting places where you guys film, and there's so many people part of your production. Tell us a little bit about that. How does everything go about for you guys when you guys are creating your web series?
Right.
Locations are definitely one of our biggest challenges because we do have a show that's set in an even though it's kind of an ambiguous time period, it is supposed to take place, around the late 1800s,
Mm-hmm.
And as such, we like to find as accurate period locations as possible, which is definitely a big challenge. So sometimes we actually build our episodes around a location that we know that we have. So like in our second season, there's an episode that takes place on a ship,
Mm-hmm.
and that episode sort of came about because we knew that we had this ship available that we could film on.
But just as far as like the last season that we did, we had two different people with Victorian era homes that we used. We did the tall mast ship. We shot at a Ren Fair location in the off season. We even shot in a national forest. You've got to grab those shots where you can.
Mm-hmm.
And in a drainage creek.
Oh yes.
And then
Jungle.
talking about, you guys have a part where it's all like zombies, and you guys have so many extras. How does that come about? How do you get so many extras to be part of your web series?
You ask really nicely.
Yeah. I just think that, I'm like,
We're very lucky that we have a very loyal fan base that is willing to help us with just the pay of a sandwich.
Yes.
Having sprung up in the Los Angeles area, and we did a number of live shows early on in our career, and so our loyal following is luckily based around the Southern California area. So when we put the call out, we had a surprising number of people who were just less than an hour's drive away.
Mm-hmm.
Some people came farther though. I mean, what, Las Vegas was it? And
Yeah.
Arizona. Yeah.
And we actually had people that wanted to fly in from across the United States, but we just, I don't know. Personally, I felt kind of bad asking them to come out that far, even though they wanted
for a
to be part of it.
sandwich. Yeah.
Yeah, right. But we did put out calls to all of our social media, Facebook, Twitter, and Russ created basically an account that we used so people could submit themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And we had somewhere around 70 or 80 people total for the whole season that responded and wanted to be a part of our season 2.
Oh, wow. I noticed that on YouTube you guys have over 9,000 subscribers. Facebook you have over 9,000 likes. You guys were on Huntington Post. And just a lot of great things. Did you guys think that from starting this it was going to get that big, or you guys were going to have that many followers or that many people into what you guys were creating?
Expect it? No, but hope for it? Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We've always thought we've had. Now, okay. Once people started asking us to show up places, we kind of realized we had a thing, and as we started doing the live shows and we saw the response we were getting from the audience, we realized that we had something that could potentially be fairly large, and it's the dream of that larger thing that sort of has been dragging us forward.
Where do you think that was that point where you started getting more people to follow you? Like, when did you think that success came and you guys started getting more likes and followers and more?
I don't know that there's been like one specific point. It's been kind of just a product of us being very persistent and being pretty consistent in making public appearances, doing live shows, doing the web series and our podcast and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, just building the content. I think it just keeps drawing more and more people in.
Yeah, we're active on social media on a daily basis. So
And
it
another
just keeps growing.
another main thing that we do is we do attend conventions too. So San Diego Comic-Con, biggest convention out there,
Right.
and Dragon Con, Steam Con, and there are tons of other steampunk conventions that have kind of grown up in the last few years, and so we do our best to attend those.
I mean, you guys are known for your costumes and your design. It's amazing. What advice do you give to other people doing their web series and keeping the budget kind of low? Like, what kind of resources can they get, or what can they do?
Beg,
Start-
borrow, and steal.
Beg, borrow, and steal. I mean,
Is that what you guys started with?
No.
Stealing?
everybody who worked on the production very heavily, you say, nice to meet you, welcome to the club, what's in your house, what's in your mother's house, what kind of car do you drive, and can you fit stuff in it? And then anything that you can't borrow or beg or steal, you buy from Salvation Army, any thrift stores around, because we're all makers, so even if you find something that's not quite right, you take it, you change it a little bit, you put a spray paint on it. So I'm also really good at taking plastic tags off of things and then returning them later, which is a sad fact of things you have to do in a low budget production. Lots of steaming.
Yeah.
And one other thing that we did, like with our zombies, is we asked people. Robin created a video. Was it with Kate or with Aubrey?
With Aubrey.
With
Yeah.
Aubriana, and we actually asked our zombies if they could go thrift store shopping and showed them how to do it
and what to look for.
how to
Yeah.
distress their costumes. But then we also all kind of got together and had like 10 or 12 or 15 additional options of costumes. So if they showed up
Right.
with something that didn't quite work, we could put it in there.
And then we had lots of mud and
Dust.
dust and paint of all colors.
Fluids.
Yes, we had all kinds of things to throw on them, which really helped.
What has been the biggest obstacle that you guys have kind of gone through?
Park rangers.
Time.
That's
Time.
Expenditures and time. It's
Yeah.
time. I mean, most of us have full-time jobs that we
Right.
do on the side, and then the other people don't do that. Do a lot of freelance, and it's just hard to find time. Our weekends and nights are pretty much completely taken up by this company, which is totally fine. It's awesome.
No, it's
we love having no other life.
But it's one of those things also that we have, obviously a very sort of grand vision for our series.
Mhm.
We want it to be big and there to be a lot of spectacle and production value. But we also don't have a lot of money to do that, and so as a result, we wind up just putting a lot of time into it and asking a lot of favors from people. So
We're sitting in an amazing room right now. We're at Clockwork Tour, and there's a lot of things around us that probably you guys can't see, but we have this behind you. Tell us a little bit about where we're sitting at and what's around us.
So this is a community game room that they have, and they host all sorts of community events here, like gaming workshops and
Hat making.
hat making lessons and things like that. And so some of these big props that you see around here are a series of things that we created for the band Panic at the Disco. And they went on a national tour a year, 2 years ago.
2010.
Yeah.
Summer.
And we had worked with them on one of their music videos, which had a steampunk theme. And they really enjoyed working with us, and they thought our props were awesome, and so they contacted us a few months later and said, hey, we're going on tour, and we need all this stuff. Do you want to make it for us? And so we jumped at the opportunity. So all of this stuff has been all around the world, touring on stage with them. And after they were done, they didn't have enough room to keep it, and so they said, do you guys want this stuff back? And we said, sure, absolutely. But then we didn't really have a good place to keep it either, and Donna was just opening her shop here, and we said, hey, do you need some furniture to decorate with? And so it's got a nice one
Yeah, it's
here.
pretty amazing. I love it.
And then this directly above you, this is from one of our episodes, Tall Tales. And this is the Eye of the Kraken. And Nick created this, Nick Bauman. And there is a moment in the episode where the Kraken is dragging under Kraketus pots. And he has this stick that he was getting ready to put into a sand castle. And he manages to stab the Kraken in the eye to
How long does it take you to do all this, or how long did it take you to do this?
I think it took Nick just about a week to put this one together.
Yeah.
And as you can see, it's a prop design for close-up effects work, but he designed it as a trophy as well, so that it would have life after the shoot. As multi-purpose thing.
And that actually brings up a good point of something that we try to do really frequently is when we're building a prop or creating a costume. A lot of times in filmmaking, if you only have to see one side of the prop, that's only the side that you build. But for us, since we do our live appearances and all of that, we want things to have a life beyond the web series, and we want stuff that we build, for our live shows to have applications in the web series. So it sort of goes both ways. And that's something that I think sets us apart a little bit from what other people would do.
What is kind of advice that you would give to other people doing the web series, doing that you guys done too now? You probably guys went toward the first one a lot different than what you guys did the second one, and you guys are probably going to do a lot different for the third one, right? So what is that? What is one thing that you could tell everybody? We could go around and each one of you could give an advice to somebody who's doing their web series.
Cool.
We can start with you.
Get a good mic. Yeah.
Sound guy.
Yeah.
Audio is really
Audio is important. It's
Yeah.
one of those things that can raise your production quality for, especially a low budget web series. If you can't hear somebody, it's no good. But if you have something that sounds good, at least you can have that element be really clear and present.
I would say, this really fits with what I kind of do, is really be prepared, get things organized. If you come across as professional to the people that you're working with, it really helps to keep focus together. The people, the vendors that you're working with, or the people with the locations that you're trying to get, they'll hear that you're you're trying to stay professional and be more open to negotiating with you. So
I could say something about fancy special effects, but really it's have a clear and concise vision of what you're trying to accomplish. Like, steampunk monster hunters. We want to go out in the world, find weird things, and capture them or eliminate them. So the more nebulous you are, the harder it is to get from start to finish with a middle. So really.
Yeah. I'll say two quick things. One is thank everybody that comes and works on your set, because if you don't have much money to spend and you're really asking for people to volunteer, it's so important to be thankful and grateful because they're putting in their full value, into your day. The other thing is don't be afraid to surround yourself with people who are more talented and smarter than you are. I know that sounds very silly, but if you're willing to just stay humble about it and you're passionate about something and you look around and find people that are better than you should grab them up.
I would just say I know a lot of people are very much concerned about, the cost that it takes to produce a really good web series. But we're living in a time right now where if you have, just an iPhone or something like that, you can shoot a really great web series. But no matter what you're shooting it on, just as long as you have, a really good script, good acting, and good editing, those are three things that cost nothing for you to do. But if you put the hard work and time into making sure that those things are really solid, I think a show can be really successful.
I agree with all of that. Definitely say
What they said.
What they said, but start with a good story, and if your story's good enough, nothing else will really matter. But also pay attention to the little details like light switches, and maybe put something in front of those if you can see them in your shot. Because that's always the stuff that I notice in our stuff and in
If you're
other
doing a period piece.
So if you're doing a period piece. But that, it holds true for everything. Pay attention to the details.
Attention to details. There's something that you guys have that I don't have, and that's your awesome shirts.
Sure.
Yes.
So
Do you want one?
I need one.
Okay.
How do you guys? Well, now I need to know too. But how do people get to buy your shirts or more information about you guys?
That's simple. We actually have an online store at store.leagueofsteam.com, and it has these. Well, not these shirts. These are our crew shirts, but it has the
these
gold,
ones.
the brass logo shirt. It has a number of other T-shirts, our DVDs, and some knickknacks, fun stuff. Just none of this is like huge profit making type stuff. This is all pretty much so we can buy more merchandise to put on the store. Is the way to sort of balance it out.
It's because we want people to like
It's
our
to show
stuff.
that you're a fan of the
We
show.
want
There
people
you go.
to want to wear our shirts because they think we're awesome.
Yeah.
We can make just enough money to keep producing the
Producing
shirts
it.
so that people can wear them because they think we're awesome, then that's good enough.
Making
Yeah,
them
sure.
on your own wasn't working well.
It's sort of that goes back to the time.
Yeah,
Right.
time.
It's
and it really hurts.
yeah. It's
And we realized that the cost difference actually wasn't that significant. And
Yeah.
There are people out there who have better and automated equipment and all of
Mhm.
that.
They can figure out how to make something this neon green because quite honestly we haven't been able to figure that out yet.
Right.
All right. Well, thank you guys for being here with us. It
Thanks
was
for
great
having us.
being with you guys, and stay in touch with us on our next show.
Thanks.